everyone, and welcome to another Coach's Corner. As always, I am your host, Coach Andy, and today we're going to talk about stretching and mobility. It's a topic that we here at CrossFit Tradewinds touch on a little bit, but probably not as much as I would like to, and that's just simply for time purposes. But I want to emphasize that stretching and mobility are huge parts to any athlete's daily routine. They should not be neglected, they should not be foregone, and they should definitely have the attention given to them that they deserve. Stretching and mobility are things that most people know we should do. Most people don't do, either for a lack of time or for a lack of knowledge. So what I'm going to do today is go over just a little bit of a couple tips and or tricks that might help you squeeze in these stretching and mobility exercises that I go over, and the ones that I go over are going to be basically some overall ones that I really like that hit kind of every part of your body. So why do we stretch and mobilize? Well, we stretch and mobilize because as we beat up our muscles through exercise, they get tight, they get beat up, they get torn. And when that happens, they're not very happy. An unhappy muscle is one that's super tight and doesn't allow for full range of motion, or even worse, could lead to further injury, which is definitely not something that we want to achieve by any means. So we want to make sure that we stretch and we mobilize in order to loosen up these muscles and actually the joints as well, in order to achieve the best full range of motion that we can, which achieves a more efficient range of motion, which allows us to utilize less energy, do better workouts, get more fit, so forth and so on. It's kind of like that, continuous cycle going on. So, there's tons and tons of different theories and concepts out there about when you should mobilize, when you should stretch, how you should mobilize, how you should stretch. And today I don't really want to touch on those kind of topics, but I am going to go over some basic facts, and then like I said, a couple tips and tricks on how to get in these couple exercises that I will go over. So first and foremost, just real quick, don't ever try to stretch or mobilize a cold muscle. You always want to warm it up by doing at least 10 reps of something that activates the muscle. Just get it moving, get blood flow to it. Even if it takes you 30 seconds, it's not that big of a deal, but trust me, it'll be better in the long run. And secondly, going back to it again, don't ever stretch a cold muscle, and stretching and mobilizing should be done before and after workouts, both ends, right? You want to stretch and mobilize to prepare, you want to stretch and mobilize to help heal afterwards. So those are my two facts that I hold true to no matter what anybody else says. Don't ever stretch or mobilize a cold muscle, and stretching and mobilization should be done before and after workouts. It's that simple. So for those of you that are like, well, Coach, I just don't have the time to stretch and mobilize, right? Like, you're asking me to do like a half an hour on each end of a workout. I don't have the time. I've got 3 kids, I've got 2 jobs, whatever it may be. And listen, I understand. So I'm going to go over a couple things right now that can really help you kind of get this stuff in throughout the day, maybe not right before a workout or right after a workout, but trust me, it'll help. Most people have a pretty sedentary job. You sit down for many hours a day, or whether it's in a car or at a desk or whatever. Guys, every hour, get up and walk around, right? Like, that's mobilization in itself, is just walking around. So every hour, just get up, take a lap around the office. Go up and down a couple of flights of stairs. Trust me, it'll help. Also, during that time, spend a minute doing one stretch. Find a quiet corner somewhere, outside of the cubicles, outside of the prying eyes of anybody else, because otherwise they're going to look at you kind of funny. But find a quiet corner somewhere and bang out a stretch for like a minute. That's it. Something as easy as like a standing quad stretch or a calf stretch, or even like some shoulder stretches. Anything that simple can go leaps and bounds to help towards your recovery after a workout, and even your preparation before. So guys, definitely try to do that. Also, when you're at home, when you're just sitting down watching TV, do another stretch. Do a Bretzel, do a saddle stretch, do a twisted cross while you're sitting there just watching TV. Yeah, your kids are probably going to be playing all over you, but listen, it's better than nothing. All right? And that's really 2 tips that I have to really try to get in these exercises, these stretches throughout the day that'll kind of help you, get through this and get it in, because I know time is really tough for a lot of people. So take a quick lap at work about every hour. make sure that if you can, squeeze in like a minute of stretching during that lap. Find a quiet corner, and try to stretch at home when you're just sitting there watching TV. In fact, I'll go over a stretch known as the couch stretch, and this is actually why it's called the couch stretch, because it can be done on your couch. So guys, I'm gonna get into a couple different stretches, and then we'll call it a day. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go with the couch stretch. You need a wall or a couch, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna kneel up against the wall. You're gonna take one foot, place it up on the wall so the top of your foot is against the wall and your knee down. Now, the closer your knee is to the wall, the more intense this stretch is, so make sure that you start with some distance away from the wall. Also, if this bothers your knee, if you're on a hard surface, grab a pillow, grab a pad, something to put under your knee. From here, you're gonna take your other leg, you're gonna plant it up, and then you're gonna try to straighten up as much as possible. And you're gonna hang out here ideally for about 2 minutes, and then switch sides. All right, guys, so next I'm gonna go over the Bretzel stretch. Start from a seated position, take one leg and tent it. From there, you're gonna take your other leg and you're gonna feed it underneath. The leg that I just fed underneath, my opposite hand is gonna grab the top of that foot. My other hand is gonna grab my opposite knee. From here, I'm gonna lay back. As I lay back, this leg that's on the ground, I'm gonna try to keep on the ground. I'm gonna get my shoulders to the mat. This knee that's up, I'm gonna pull across all the way as far as I can. Trying to get a nice deep stretch out of this in my quad, in my glute, and in my lower back. I'm just gonna hang out here, again guys, for about 2 minutes each side. All right guys, so now I'm gonna go over what's known as the twisted cross. You're gonna start from a laying down, chest down position. So I'm gonna lay down. I'm gonna put my arms out into a T, 90 degrees to my body. Take one hand, kickstand it up underneath that shoulder, raising that elbow up nice and high. Taking that same side leg across the small of my back. The arm that I just moved, I'm gonna press up into the arm that's on the ground. I can either keep my head up or let it hang, doesn't matter. And again, guys, ideally hanging out here for about 2 minutes each side. All right, guys, well, that's it for the movements that I wanted to go over today. Just 3 simple ones: couch stretch, Bretzel, and twisted cross. I think those are probably the 3 best stretches that you can do pretty much anywhere that'll hit everything that you need to in a daily basis. Now, there's a lot that we didn't cover. We didn't cover flows, we didn't cover tool work like trigger point or IASTM or Graston or flossing or any of that kind of stuff, guys. And stretching and mobility, I could literally do an entire month series on. So there's plenty of more information out there about it. If you guys are interested in more, we are hosting a mobility and stretching seminar on April 7th. Registration for that is live now, and you can head on over to our WOD Together site to check that out. Or if you need more information on that, feel free to email in at info@crossfittradewinds.com. But other than that, guys, I am Coach Andy. Thank you again for listening for this week's Coach's Corner, and I will see you guys next week.